Our plan was to create a very simple and lightweight Mousetrap car. We had 2 paint stirrers on either side, each 30 centimeters long, and strips of wood going across the center to hold the Mousetrap. We used Bic pens as axles and CDs as our wheels. With balloon grippers on the back, it was a very smooth ride. The first thing we decided to do was create what our axles would spin in. We chose to cut a part of the ink tube of a pen in order to create this. We then hot glued the ink tube part to the wooden paint stirrer that would be our frame. Our frame was made of light wood. We took 2 paint stirrers and 2 strips of wood to create the frame. With such a light, simple frame, it decreased a lot of the weight our first design was seeing.
Our group decided our back axle rubs too much against the wooden frame. We cut a diagonal piece of the frame off, which decreased a lot of the friction our back axle was having.
The wheels on our Mousetrap consisted of 2 CDs in the front and back. We hot glued them to our pens and added balloons as grippers to our back wheels. Around its center is related to the vehicle's performance because the vehicle would not move straight or as well with a wheel that's wobbling. The wheel must be balanced around its center for the vehicle to move well. If there is no balance, the Mousetrap car's wheels will wobble. In our original design, our car was completely different, but we found the car would not move and the wheels couldn't stand up on their own. When we changed our design and created a more stable car with 4 wheels rather than 3, we also decided to hot glue the wheels to the axle, so when the axle turned, so did the wheels. This created a much more balanced car.
The Mousetrap car's frame was a piece of ribbon that wrapped around the back axle several times. The ribbon slid against the plastic of the pen with ease, which sent the car forward without too much trouble.
Distribution of weight of the vehicle affects the traction of the wheels because the weight must be evenly distributed throughout the car. If some parts of the vehicle weigh more than others, the wheels will meet too much traction. This will slow the vehicle down and make it stuck. Weight distribution is important so the vehicle is rolling evenly. Our lever arm was glued to the spring of our Mousetrap car. It was a plastic tube that we eventually cut short. The tube was hollowed out and very lightweight as well as flexible. Having a lightweight, flexible arm allowed for the Mousetrap to spring forward easily. The major problems we encountered in the performance of our vehicle included our back wheels meeting too much friction in the ink tubes. We fixed this by shoving a pencil with a larger tip into the ink tube, which created more space for the tip of the pen axle to roll in. We also met a major problem with the use of our Mousetrap. After testing the car several times, we found it performed less and less. We figured it had to do with the overuse of our Mousetrap, but it was too late to change which Mousetrap we used. We couldn't fix this problem without replacing the Mousetrap and ended up suffering the consequences during the test. One of the types of friction that affected the performance of our vehicle was rolling friction. Rolling friction occurred in our Mousetrap car when the wheels turned on the ground and when the axle rolled in the ink tube. This affected our car's performance because it created more friction to overcome, which slowed down our car and made it harder for it to roll forward. We also experienced static friction. When we set our car down, the Mousetrap had to overcome the static friction and push the Mousetrap back into place. Static friction, being the hardest type of friction to overcome, affected the performance of our vehicle because the car had to be light enough for the Mousetrap to actually go back into place and overcome the static friction, which would propel the car forward.
Simple machines that were incorporated into our Mousetrap were a lever and wheels and axles. The lever was connected to our Mousetrap and set the car in motion. When the car was set down and the lever automatically started to rise due to the power of the Mousetrap. and it pulled a string which made the wheels and axle move forward. The wheels and axle were a big part of our car and was the lever, but we had multiple wheels and axles. There was an axle in front of one car and in the back. Each axle has two wheels, coupled with the lever. The wheel and the axle propel the car.
The relationship to the lever on the car was accelerating as soon as the car touched the ground. The lever released and the car began to move. The car slowed to a halt when the lever stopped moving, and thus the car began to stop.
The problems related to friction we encountered were around the back wheels and lever hitting the Mousetrap car after release. We fixed the friction around the back wheels by making the ink tube axle larger for the pen tip. This allowed the pen and wheels to roll much more freely. When the axle was fully released and all the ribbon was out of the lever, it would fly back into place and snap onto the Mousetrap, quickly halting the movement of the car. We realized friction was acting upon the front axle of the car. To stop this from happening, we added a bottle cap to the Mousetrap under the lever to prevent the lever from stopping the movement of the car.
Why would you consider buying our car instead of all the other ones on the market at the time? Well, first of all, it is very lightweight and easy to take with you everywhere. Secondly, it is fun and easy to build. All you need are some CDs, pens, some spare wood, and glue. Our car may not be the fastest, but it is one of the funnest. It is very smooth gliding and is lightweight and easy to take with you on the go to, let's say, gymnasiums, parks, or wherever you'd like.
Call now, and you can get a second Mousetrap car for free. That's 2 for the price of 1!